Hello and welcome back to another video from Average FPL. Today what we're going to do is we're going to have a preview of Gameweek 5. We're going to quickly look at the fixtures for the weekend and then we're going to move across into my team, who's playing who, how I think they're going to perform, and any potential moves I could make going into the weekend. So we'll start with looking at the fixtures, and it's important to remember that it's an early deadline this week. Deadline will probably be about 6:30 on Friday night because we've got Newcastle versus Leeds at 8 o'clock. Now, I would say, I know Leeds haven't got off to a good start, but if they were going to turn it around, it would probably be against Newcastle. I would definitely think they're quite likely to at least score a couple of goals here. I would say the same for Newcastle as well, and I've got Callum Wilson in my lineup, and if he starts, I'd be pretty happy with his chances of getting returns as well. So there's potential for something like I could see maybe a 2-2 draw in that game. Now, moving on to Saturday, the early kickoff is Wolves versus Brentford. Now, Wolves have started okay. They've not conceded very many at the start of the season. Also not scored too many either. So if I had either team's defence, then I'd be quite secure in terms of their chances of getting a clean sheet. I turn out that I've got the Brentford attack, so I still think they've got a chance to score. I think if Brentford ever do score, then it's going to be Tony or Mbeumo. So I am quite happy to keep them for now, especially at their the good price points they've got. Burnley Arsenal, I think Arsenal after that victory at the weekend, they've got a chance of maybe starting to bring it together a bit. They've got a good run of fixtures. I'm happy having Ben White in my defence. I think he's got a good chance of getting a clean sheet, and I also think if Odegaard starts again, he's got a good chance of at least getting an assist away at Burnley, I think. After Burnley just conceding 3 goals against Everton, I think Arsenal have that same potential to score some goals as well. Liverpool Crystal Palace, now this is probably the fixture of the weekend in terms of captaincy for me, alongside the Man City game, but I don't own any Man City players. So I feel like I definitely want to captain Salah this week. Crystal Palace at home just has a real good opportunity for returns. I would also say if you had a Liverpool defender, then that is a really good shout for a clean sheet as well. I know Palace scored a few at the weekend, but I think Liverpool at home is a different opposition. So also Man City, I would say if you had a Man City attacker, do you want to captain him? I think Southampton at home is a brilliant fixture, and I could definitely see Man City scoring 4, but I stay away from Man City because of the rotation risk and the headaches it gives, because such like this, if I had a Man City attacker, I really want to captain them here, but then I'd also be thinking, if I captain them and then they end up coming on for the last 10 minutes because they're not starting because of rotation, then I've wasted my captaincy as well. So that's another reason why I don't have any Man City players. But if you're feeling risky, definitely a fixture worth captaining Man City attackers for. In there, Norwich versus Watford. Now I've got the Watford goalkeepers, and I am hoping that there's going to be a clean sheet for Watford here. I think if it's ever going to happen, it's got a good chance of happening against Norwich. And I wouldn't expect Norwich to have lots of shots at the Watford goal, so therefore I'm restricted on save points for backmen, but hopefully that clean sheet will make those irrelevant, really. Now, Aston Villa Everton is a really interesting game. Calvert-Lewin is out until the 2nd of October. I'm really thinking, do I transfer him out or not? I'm inclined to keep him just because my long-term goal of getting Lukaku in, if I was to use a transfer now, swapping Calvert-Lewin for someone in a similar price bracket, because at the moment I don't have the funds for Lukaku, I'm essentially just wasting a transfer for the short term, and I want to try and stick to that long-term goal of probably transferring Jota out to create more funds and then bringing Lukaku in, which could be done next weekend. But I feel like there's no point. The transfer I'd make would be Jota to someone cheaper, and what's the point in doing that this weekend when Liverpool have a great fixture at home? So I'm inclined to just leave things as they are at the moment in terms of transfers and just hope for the best. Now, Brighton-Leicester, and Thomas didn't start last weekend. I'm sort of having him as insurance policy, and I might swap him in for Callum Wilson and then hope that he would get a clean sheet if he plays, and if he doesn't play, he's not very likely to come on. And then if Callum Wilson does play, I'd get Callum Wilson's points. So that might be a change that I'd make closer to the deadline. I'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, Brighton have started the season really well, but I wouldn't necessarily fancy them to score a lot of points and get good returns against Leicester. West Ham Man United, Antonio is suspended, so I think that really takes out a bit of West Ham potency, and you'll have to see if the other players they've brought in will step up to the plate in his absence. And if West Ham have lost that spark, I would like Man United's options here of scoring goals. I think they really messed up in the Champions League this week, losing it on Tuesday, and they'll be looking to bounce back. I think if they get a poor result here again, then there's really going to be the pressure on. So it's in Man United's best interest to just go out and attack early and get a couple of early goals, take the pressure off, and then just see the game out. So I like Fernandes as an option. I think I don't want to captain him just because I think West Ham is still a good team, and Salah has the better fixture, and I'm not going to overthink captaincy this year. I'm going to go with the big hitter with the best fixture, and that's Salah. But Man United are good options, I think, this weekend. Spurs, Chelsea, difficult for both. You would maybe say go with Chelsea. Spurs lost at the weekend. They had a player sent off, which obviously changes the way the game is played, but even still, you would think Chelsea is a great opportunity to show the league that they mean business. And I could see maybe a 2-1 Chelsea, 3-1 Chelsea. So maybe not quite a Chelsea clean sheet, because the Spurs still have some good attackers, but the option for attacking returns as well. Now, I would say moving forward, for me, like I said before, I'm probably just going to keep things as they are. The only option that I might change is swapping Wilson and Thomas over. I'm really aware of the lack of options on my bench, so hopefully either Thomas will start. Otherwise, I'm looking at 10 players returning this weekend, which isn't ideal. And I did, I'm just outside of 3 million now, but I'm in the same league as my dad, and he is only 36 points ahead of me, which to me doesn't seem very much. But he's 2 million places ahead of me as well. Now, I know people can start panicking at this stage of the season, but you just got to bear in mind you've had 4 game weeks out of 38, you've got 34 more game weeks to go, and the difference is 36 points aren't that much in the grand scheme of things. Don't worry too much about your rank. Focus on the point difference between you and that person you're comparing yourself to rather than the rank difference. Because otherwise you're going to start panicking and you're going to change from the plan, like I was thinking of changing from the plan that I had. I'm going to stick with it, the long-term plan to get Lukaku in. And yeah, so good luck this game week. Hopefully, you'll have a good game week and your team's looking a bit more secure than mine is right now in terms of who's going to play. But thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.